Good evening, ladies. My name is Gerald Mitchell, and first off, I'd like to start off by thanking you for attending my brief presentation today. My presentation is a self-introduction presentation. It will cover facts about my life that you may or may not have known before. First, I will talk about the origins of my birth. Next, I will talk about my early childhood. And last, I will cover the current stage of my life at this moment in time. Most people don't know the fact that I was born to a drug-addicted mother who was only 15 years of age at the time. Early on, the fact that my mother was addicted to drugs led her to make some poor decisions, which in consequence led to my birth and to crack cocaine being in my system, which ultimately led to me being taken away by the state of Tennessee. Growing up early in my childhood, I wasn't aware of the fact that I was missing my mother and also my father. I always had a support system, mentors, counselors who were there for me to talk about my feelings. I would go and sit down with them and they would ask me questions about how I felt, knowing that I was affected by my mother's absence. Early on, I really didn't understand, but as I grew older, I started questioning things. And then as those things got answered, it ultimately led to me discovering that although my mother was absent in my life was not all that bad. I guess you could say I beat the odds. I grew up, attended school, graduated from high school, and entered the workforce, which is where I met my beautiful wife, Elizabeth. Elizabeth and I dated briefly, but winding up losing contact. After we lost contact, I continued to work, but I longed for something more. A short time after that, we got in contact again, which is when I found out she had moved to the state of Texas. I still was currently residing in Tennessee, but I made the decision that I was going to go and join her. Upon my arrival in Texas, my wife and I got a small apartment. I got a job, but I wanted something more, which is what led me to the military. The military ultimately took me to Georgia, where my wife and I were stationed for 3 years. And then it led me back here to Fort Hood, Texas, is where we reside right now. I traveled to Kuwait, and upon my return from Kuwait, our first child was born. A short time after that, I deployed to South Korea, and upon my return from South Korea, a little time before that, we conceived our second child, my son, and then I deployed to Korea. I guess you could say, once again, that I beat the odds. I grew up with a lot of love, support from my family, my friends, and I didn't let my early circumstance in life affect me. Faith, love, family, and hard work can get you through anything. Thank you for listening to my presentation.